Happy Sunday, people, and welcome to All Talk United. After that kind of curtail from Aston Villa today, we need to be drunk in Port of Spain. We need to be drunk in Port of Spain. I am President Chad. That is Greg B. We got the man CJ, Tonio, and Courtney on the inside. You are looking at us either on YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch. Again, welcome to All Talk United on the United Hour. Gentlemen, it's been a little while. It's been a little while since we've been in this kind of position, boy. Welcome to Vinny and Martin Phillip on the inside. You know, I almost didn't know how to feel for a bit today. You know, it's been so long. Since we get this kind of legs. But
I will not say that. I will say.
Let me jump straight into it with first comments, first impressions from the game, and then we'll get into the details. So Courtney, you were going to say something. You go ahead and start it off. How you feel about that?
Yes, we've been winning since I think the last loss was the City loss, right? But I have yet to see a performance where I say, yes, boy, we totally dominated that game for 90 minutes. We closed out the game at a reasonable time, and we looked like we were dominating and assured in our football.
That's not true. We dominated Spurs for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. The only person.
Come on, Courtney. Give them a little bit more credit than that. Come on.
The only person who walk away. The only person who walk away from that is Ronaldo.
2 to 3 games. In the last 2 to 3 games, which would be the Sociedad game, this game here.
We have been dominating people, but
yeah.
But go ahead, finish your thoughts. We'll get into the details in a little bit.
Today's result. Unai Emery set out his team to do a particular job, and they did it. What if you look at how that first 10 minutes of the game went? They were faster to the ball than us. They were more assured in their passing. They knew exactly what to do. They blitzed us for that 10 minutes, and within that blitz, scored 2 goals. And literally took their foot off the accelerator until we scored 1 back. Came out at the start of the second half, they did the exact same thing they did in the first half. The first 10 minutes, they blitzed. And we had no answer.
All right, so before I move across to Tonio, let me just read some of these comments here. Vinny is saying, for me, Donny van der Beek shouldn't have been in there. You're going to get a lot of support for that sentiment in here today. He also is saying, and we really missed Bruno. Well, you know, they have a lot of Bruno haters in the world. So let's hear what they have.
Before you go any further, Chad, I am not taking any more slander about Bruno for the rest of the season. I don't care who it is. I come out swinging for them.
Let's hear what they have to say about Manchester United without Bruno Fernandes. So a lot of people agree with you, Vinny. Martin Phillip is asking what really went wrong with United today. Well, that's what we're going to try to break down. According to Courtney, Unai Emery seems to have our number because it doesn't really matter what manager is coaching Manchester United. Unai Emery seems to be able to figure out a way to beat us. Mark Lewis, welcome on the inside. Today we got schooled, plain and simple. Good afternoon, guys. Talk to me, Antonio. What are your thoughts on the performance today?
Well, I wouldn't say that we got schooled. I mean, that's a bit far-fetched. But what I would say is that for the sum of all parts, I think there were a lot of factors for the reason why we got the result that we did today. There were so many factors against us that I guess it finally showed. And in the reality of it, the coachman said exactly what I was thinking. We were beaten at the beginning of the first half, and we were beaten at the beginning of the second half. It was clear to see. When we got out into the second half, my first thinking was we need to settle quickly because they are going to try to do exactly what they did in the first half. The coach expected as much. He told the players what they were going to do, and we still couldn't stop it. But I felt there were so many different reasons for the performance today that I'm not too beaten up about it, simply because there are so many injuries. And as I told CJ before, I think the coach is actually punching above his weight in terms of what he's dealing with up front and where we are still at and still able to compete. He's been doing our job. But I think we saw a lot of things today. A lot of questions were answered today also, but we will get into that. We'll get into that deeper into the show. So disappointed, yes, but knowing that we weren't at our full maximum and knowing that there were so many other factors against us, I won't be beating up myself too much about it. As I said, it's disappointing because we could have had an opportunity to go into the top four, but I mean, it's still early in the season, and I think that we are right where we're supposed to be. We're right where we're supposed to be. We just have to stay in and about until the World Cup, and when we come back, we push again.
Well, our next Premier League game is against Fulham, and I'm pretty sure we're going to beat them. So
No, don't say that. Fulham playing.
I could say that because that's how I feel. I wasn't sure we were going to win this game today. And when we had and well, I'm coming to CJ next. When we had to play Newcastle, when we had the run with Newcastle, Spurs, and Chelsea, in my mind, the hardest game was going to be Newcastle, because Newcastle is the informed team in the Premier League, and they are showing that, right? So when we got a draw, I wasn't upset, and then we beat Spurs, and I expected us to beat Spurs, and I was disappointed we didn't beat Chelsea because I expected us to beat Chelsea too. But I'm not really worried about Fulham, but I was worried today. But when it come back around to me, I will tell you all why I was worried about today. CJ, talk to me. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, and as you think the factors talk, they are real factors. I mean, come in. I'm not making excuses, just mind you. But you just had to look at everything in a full perspective. For me, when you look at the games we were playing and we were running, the West Ham game where we were a bit fighting up with West Ham and not really controlling the game, that would take a lot out of you. And then Europa League on Thursday, it would try something. And you could say that there is some fatigue, but there's also some injuries, because if you look at it, Anthony would have liked a lot of games that we had. He would have liked the Sociedad game, and he probably would have liked this game as well. So for me, because if you really look at it, we didn't really have anybody in the wings. Like, aside from Rashford, we didn't really have anybody in the wings to say, yeah, they make a little impact. And on top of it too, for Anthony Langa now to come on, it kind of shows you that there's a lack of depth. Like, if you watch it well, there's a lack of depth in the squad. I feel like in this game, I'm not saying I'm glad it happened, but looking at it is like, I feel like Eric has to look at this game and say, I really do need a January transfer window, and he does. Because if you look at the back line, I have to give Victor Lindelof props for holding it down for a couple of games, but he really wasn't up to it today. Like, you could see, like, when he was defending, he was running with the attacker instead of at the attacker. And it's like, Victor, hey, just tackle the man away, please. But I will give my ratings for Lisandro Martinez, because even on a bad display, this man still somehow shows some kind of composure, boy. Especially the creative passes from the deep line. Like, we have to look at that. Like, he could, to create from the back like that, it has to be crazy. So for me, I'm not really worried.
You're muted, Jad.
Yes, CJ, what I was saying, don't lie. Don't talk about poise and all these things with Martinez. You like the elbow to the ribs. That is what you like. I know.
No.
I like the elbow to the ribs.
To be fair, he was supposed to get a yellow card. When I see the elbow in me, man tells this man, hey, not me, boy. Hey, not me, boy.
I might not tell you. I get a referee props today. There are plenty of Premier League referee would have given Martinez a yellow card for some one of them tackles. Not because the tackle in itself deserved a yellow, but just because every time that man run up the pitch is to hit somebody. Anytime they get a ball long and you see Martinez, the man on the ground.
Martinez, he just play jail football, boy. Now that man is play Carrera Island.
I didn't come with that, boy. No, the man was out already. out
Man,
over
The
the
man did
sideline.
what the man he did what he was supposed to do. He realized Aston Villa was smelling themselves a little too much. So we needed to impose ourselves on the game. It didn't matter whether it was a foul or not. I see he put in a tackle. I saw him put in a tackle on Liam Bailey, and I was like, finally, feel something. I might get the ball, but you have to feel something. You can't
yeah,
just be turning and running at me whole day and having a heyday. Nah, chill out, brother.
listen to me.
Chill out.
Martinez is play with the philosophy. The ball could pass, the man could pass, but the two
Man
can't
could
pass
pass.
together.
One had to make
Facts.
it. One had to make it,
Facts.
not both.
That was my philosophy coming playing football. Facts. Facts is you are the ball. 102. You are the ball to this day.
Talk
I
to me,
agree with
talk
Robert
to
here.
me, Greg B. What are your overall thoughts? And let me get into some very important observations that I made.
I personally believe that that first 10 minutes were shades of the remainders of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, where there was a lapse of concentration in the earlies, continuously showing me that that there are still issues within this team as regards mentality and concentration from the word go. We take too long to settle, and Unai Emery would have understood that and exploited that. You look at it; those first two goals came within the space of 4 minutes, and for me, there were two men that I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on them, but I think they, apart from not even the likes of Victor Lindelof, because in recent history, he has not had the greatest of games whenever he's played against Aston Villa. And for me, I think Luke Shaw will still be kind of like out of sorts because I think every time he comes up against Leon Bailey, he's caught out a lot. That's just my belief. I mean, I'm not saying
I think I just credit to Leon Bailey. He's just that fast.
yeah.
He's just that good.
I know, and I don't know. Maybe I just would probably was thinking maybe Malacia might have brought something different because he's not accustomed playing against him. But we could never tell. Hindsight is 2020, and you can never tell what could have taken place on that day. Malacia may have struggled, probably even worse than Shaw today. So we can't say for certain. But I just felt like those were two areas that I felt like knowing how Unai Emery knows how to target certain players, it would have been nice to kind of change it and freshen it up. I mean, everybody saw Harry Maguire coming on, and I saw meltdowns all over social media. Everybody's like, "Why is he coming on? Why is he coming on?" I was like, I thought I had to go on look for suicide watch for certain United fans today. But
Mendes started getting anxiety attacks. But
yeah, boy,
No, but you see, the
Immediately.
thing is, Harry is one of those. When he's on, and when he off, he off.
yeah, that sums it up perfectly. And this comment here, I don't get it. It's not going to bring Jesse Lingard back. Deal with it. That's
all
all I
I
have to
just
say.
want to
Plus, it
say,
is a very valid comment
well,
from Darren Archibald. I'm
Yeah,
going to
but
be
I
dealing
mean,
with that. Still.
I mean, I'll address it. I'll address it as is here. I
No,
mean, we
no,
all
no,
know
no,
that
no.
he.
We're not
Darren
ready to
kind of
put him on
rushing.
yet.
Yeah, Darren's
We're
kind
not-
of
rush,
rushing. He's
rush.
a bit
Yeah.
impatient.
all you need to
We'll deal
all
with
you need to-
players specifically in a little bit.
all you
What
need
I
to-
wanna get at is I wanna ask this question first. Everybody wouldn't need to weigh necessarily, but at least two of you all. We're not making excuses, but to what degree did fatigue figure in this game? Now, note I said to what degree. You could say 10%, meaning in your mind fatigue didn't figure much. It could be 90% saying, well, yeah, fatigue is the main reason we were underperforming today. Who knows? But, to what degree you think fatigue factored? Because let's be honest, we could talk about Victor Lindelof, but Victor Lindelof, the last couple games that he came in, slided in seamlessly into this team. He looked like a sub today. He looked like somebody who was not, he looked like, yeah, we see why you on the bench today.
Yeah,
And
that's
we remember he came off halftime, and I remember he went straight down to the dressing room. I've been asking people behind the scenes all week, what going on with Victor? Nobody could give my answer. The club didn't say anything. Nobody said anything. But I am telling you, we possibly don't know what is going on. Victor may not have been 100% today. And the coach just
I
decided,
believe
yeah, what?
so.
I rather you than Harry us and send him out. No, we don't know. I'm not making excuses. I just saying
I mean, we all know
that
Victor.
when a man come up half time and run down the tunnel one time, looks to me going for treatment. That is not normal. Men does normally go and sit
Wow.
down with the
Yeah.
peers. You understand what I'm saying?
Chad,
So we don't know. I don't know. I've been asking behind the scenes and I haven't gotten a straight answer for what's been going on with Victor since Thursday.
Chad, come and see. That come like that fella in secondary school can't play football. Say pick the fella with the bow leg to play football. It's like he with the two perfect legs. No, that way
Yo.
he basically the man, right?
So
Yeah, but-
Darren is saying that maybe players are saving themselves for the World Cup. I know Martinez
Sweden
and
going World Cup?
Casemiro are two players that are definitely not doing that, right?
But that makes no sense,
I know.
though.
Let's be real. That may be
Exactly.
that is something you had to think about because I know Pep has been
What?
talking about it.
Nah,
Pep has said
okay.
that if he sees players, he knows when players not putting full 100, and if he feel they're saving himself for the World Cup, he
Okay,
not
but
gonna pick
hear
them.
him out, right?
But
It's
on the
like-
fatigue question, fellas, let's get back to the fatigue question. What percentage do you think fatigue made a difference today? Go ahead, CJ.
For me, a good 40 or 50%. Because when you take your team, the tactics were kind of weird too. And if we're being honest, the tactics were pretty weird. Like, you could see Eric was really trying something and it didn't work. I mean, bad time to try something, but hey, if you want to learn, you want to learn. But to say fatigue was the main reason, not really. However, I will not disregard fatigue for the next coming fixtures because if you think about it, we have to play our whole season with this side. And granted, we have other tournaments like the FA Cup that's now start that looking to now start
In
And we have-
January, too.
January. We have the Carabao Cup and we still have Europa League playoffs. So for me, it makes you think that okay, it's not fatigue, and yes, fellas need to catch themselves. But at the same time, you can't watch this game and say, nah, boy, these fellas need to catch themselves. We don't need reinforcements. We need reinforcements. Taking
All
a
right,
team.
anybody else? Antonio, I see you shaking your head. What are your thoughts on the fatigue question?
I agreed with CJ in terms of the 40 to 50%. I mean, Aston Villa had no European football to play in the month of October. Our schedule was absolutely ridiculous, and you just saw that they were at a different pace than us from the get-go. Aside from the fact that you have a shot of adrenaline, which is a new coach to come out and give you that even extra impetus. So when I say a lot of factors were against us today, there were a lot of factors against us today. And then Unai just loves to play against United. I was absolutely not surprised with Aston Villa's performance today. It's almost like Unai feels a joy in his heart every time he has to face us because it's like, yeah, let me try and put on a tactical masterclass today. Because I mean, everything that they did today was on ball. We gave up two goals. One was through man-made errors, and I think it was just I don't think our midfield took enough responsibility also at the beginning of either half. They didn't really take it much. They left the defense kind of, by themselves. But I would say about 50% in terms of the fatigue, and the other 50 down to other factors also, down to a couple other factors. So I wouldn't put it too much on the fatigue. We should have had enough class as a team to get around that, but it was too much today.
Courtney, I see you shaking your head. What percentage do you think fatigue played today?
Less than 20%. I'm gonna tell you what.
Less than 20?
We have been playing. We playing match week, midweek football for the last. I don't think we sat out a European tournament. No, we've either played in either the
Not
Champions
since
League,
Ole.
Champions League or the Europa League, correct? Except for the year even the year when we came seventh, we still
Nah, the year we came seven, we had no European football.
right.
No.
Okay, that would be the odd year, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, I would say the schedule is condensed, but it's not to say that it's anything out of what we would normally be playing at this time of the year.
Yes, it is actually, Courtney.
I
But
could-
go ahead.
It's
Nah,
not
I
World
could
Cup
kinda
yet, though.
agree.
This is a different season. It doesn't be this bad. It doesn't be this bad.
Yeah,
No,
at,
We have
at
a
this point in
congested
time.
season, plus we have a break for a World Cup coming up.
Let me-
The amount
let
of
me-
games that we have
let
to
me-
cram in between that space of time.
Hold on.
Let Courtney finish though. Let him finish.
Hold on.
Yeah.
At the end of December, is the midway mark, correct? In the league.
Yeah, in England, their Christmas break is after
games
the
to finish,
second.
right?
There are games on the first and the second
How
of
many
January.
games? I don't want to lie. I'm gonna pull up the table. Hold on. Table. As of today, we have played 13 games. We are now at the beginning of November. So if we were in a non-World Cup year or in a normal season, we'd have been playing around the same number of games.
Not
We may
within the same amount of time though.
one or two
Yeah.
less. Go.
No, because okay. So if you think about it, now if you look at the season itself, and even my father who's been watching football for years, he and all has said that you don't really get the seasons it normally has. Because yes, we do have Boxing Day fixtures and we do have those fixtures.
The congestion that
Yeah,
Courtney
the
talking
congestion is
about
the same.
normally comes about in December.
Exactly.
And then January, February, when you have the FA Cup, if you're in the final of the League Cup and you're playing European football. So there are those 2 times in a season where you will get congestion. None of these players, regardless of what league you're playing, are accustomed to this level of congestion so early in the season.
And on
I don't
top
have a
of
problem with your 20%
And then
rating.
and then compile on top of that. Compile on top
Mm.
of that, you have the Death of the Queen, which delayed 2 matches as well too. So that's
Correct.
another set of games that you have to
had
put
a 2-week
into it as
window
well.
where
Which didn't help us because we lost
didn't help
rhythm and
us.
then we come back and we get spanked from City. But
Yep.
I don't have a problem with your 20% rating. All I'm
And
saying
also
is you
too-
cannot say that the season is almost the same. It really
And-
not the same.
and also too,
It really not.
and also too, a big indicator of it all, if you look at overall football, the amount of injuries that have been happening, it's not normal. Let me be real.
Nope.
Since COVID, the run of football has not been the same. We're not going to act like COVID didn't affect football. You only remember that season of COVID football when we had to literally grind and Marcus
Yeah,
Rashford.
we had a 3 month about a 3 month hold up on football all around, and then on top of that, they forced the season to be finished out, which ended up pushing
Exactly.
back tournaments that we were supposed to have at the end of that season. Remember the Euros we
Exactly.
had in 2021, we were supposed to have it at the end of the 2019-20 season.
Greg
So
B,
a lot of
a
stuff
comment-
today.
Coming back to you on this
You're
question,
good.
but I want to give Courtney it first because he
I
didn't.
hear in all here, but I can't put it down to fatigue.
No. We accept that. I accept your 20%.
Yeah, we say
I know
fatigue is the only
20%.
problem.
Yeah.
though. We
I
say
accept
that's the only
that.
problem.
Yeah.
Let me just
My
read these
thing
comments
is-
quickly, and I want to throw this. I want to throw another question at Courtney. There's a couple questions, and there's a couple, right?
All right.
Jesus Akshaw is saying Donny van der Beek not in any World Cup squad, and I agree with that. He have absolutely no excuse today, but we need more than this. Clearly, he's saying that Donny wasn't up to the races today. When we watch the stats, it clearly shows that Villa wanted it more than us today. And that is partly why I asked about the fatigue, because one of the things I observe in this team is after halftime, I don't know what Ten Hag tells these guys, but I have observed we normally run out and perform our levels up a little bit in the second half. That did not happen today.
Nope.
That didn't happen today. And we
How is
needed
that?
it today. I'm talking about games where we 1-0 up or we 0-0, and Ten Hag talk to these guys and they run out with an extra something in the second half. We were down and they run out flat. And I to me, my personally rank for fatigue is 40%. I'm not going as high as 50, but I think 40. But so the next question I want to ask Courtney, and then I'll go into Greg with the same question after. What percentage of the debacle today is a matter of personnel? That Ten Hag just injuries. I mean, CJ mentioned it earlier. So what percentage? You know, we talking about Ten Hag really. He tried something different. Did he try something different because he feel we needed to try something different, or he tried something different because we had injuries and we were missing Bruno. So that is my question to you now, Courtney. You say
I would
20%
say
is fatigue. What percentage do you think had on the game injuries
65,
and missing Bruno Fernandes?
65 to 70. And I'll tell you what. Watch how
So just now, so for you, most of the issue today was personal issues.
correct.
Right, go ahead.
If you look at how the team is set up, even with CR7, who I had an issue with today, but we will leave that on the side for now. When Bruno is in the team, that the team tends to press higher. Ericsson steps up, even though Ericsson has that free role and is the playmaker. The team itself presses higher because Bruno literally you see Bruno turn around and telling men come on. So all that time that Villa had to play in the back and thing and knock the ball around and on their back line, they don't usually have. He also runs a lot more than he makes up for Ronaldo's lack of running. So when you actually saw it today, you saw where in the center of the park, we had no kind of control. Villa was first to all the second balls. Villa made us make some very good big errors, which caused at least 2 goals. And you could see that Casemiro by himself couldn't manage the situation like how you usually would. Because normally when Ericsson sits beside him, he has an outlet to play to Ericsson. So, mere fact that, and then we had no threat on the wings. Now, I don't want to knock the man because he had a great game earlier on in the week. But Garnacho played scared. Garnacho had at least 2 or 3 opportunities to run at a man. And you literally saw him. He'd take that half a second and was like, boy, I really don't want to run at this man today. And cut back. And in him cutting back, he either lost possession of the ball or made a square pass. Instead of taking it to the men. And I could tell if Bruno was on the field, Bruno would have pulled him square and say, hey, look, this is what you are good at. Do it. But again, and let me know him going to Donny van der Beek. I like him as a player, but I don't think he is anywhere near.
When we talk about these percentages, it'll be going into players next. So we could, don't worry, you'll get opportunity to weigh in on Van Beek soon enough.
Also, you have to really take it in. When you say in terms of personnel, I think what Garnacho really and truly is when you see Garnacho, he didn't want to mess up, especially if it's his kind of first Premier League start as well. Like, I feel that's the crazy part about it. A lot of people will now want to say, like, is this the great Garnacho? So I think now.
But if people fear Garnacho didn't have a bad game, he didn't have a good game.
He didn't have a terrible game.
He had a real good performance, but Garnacho didn't have a bad game. So nobody shouldn't be.
For me, I think Garnacho was mainly nerves and also not much encouragement because he really had to go in on his own sometimes if you look at the games and the setup. Because I understand that maybe from the game too, if you look from you behind the scenes, somebody probably tell him, he has been beating players, but sometimes he just lose the ball. And sometimes subconsciously, that is really hit like you will try not to do something that it actually kills your overall game. I think that's what happened with Garnacho. He didn't want to
never
lose
see a manager like Ten Hag or any good manager telling a player, it does do stuff and it does come up sometimes, but sometimes it does lose the ball to limit that player's explosiveness. My thing, even with Bruno Fernandes, lose the ball in the opposition third. Don't lose the ball in our half of the field. And Garnacho don't lose the ball in our half of the field. I have no issues with Garnacho. I can't see Ten Hag now. I'm not saying CJ might be wrong. I'm not saying CJ is wrong. It may have players that might say that no manager ain't going to tell a player, hey,
well,
explosive.
You gotta remember something, even though the manager may not have said it, if senior players, because remember, he's the junior.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I agree because it may be a player may say that. And hopefully the manager would be able to blame no way. Forget our criticism. You do your thing.
Yeah, but let me be real. We've all played football on various levels. Your manager might tell you something, but the men who you consider your peers are the people who, for the most part, has quite a bit of influence over it. So
But
you can
Fair
see
enough.
that somebody
Yeah, but
like
ultimately, the last decision doesn't rest with them at the end of the day,
yeah,
though.
but
Just
remember
remember
the
that.
coach man not on the
yeah,
field.
it come like
Peer pressure is a real thing.
it
Let's
come
talk
like
about
it
now,
would,
CJ.
but it come like
I
it
wanna
would
get
too.
Mhm.
before we start getting into individuals. I wanna get Greg B's thoughts on personnel. What percentage you think personnel affected Ten Hag's decisions today and the outcome of the game,
I I
or the lack of
I broke
personnel?
it down like this. I broke it down like this in my head. I basically was like 40% was fatigue. Another 40% was basically down to personnel, and the next 20% I think Ten Hag has to hold some blame for it because I think he made a lot of wrong decisions in that regard. So a lot of the players there may not have been able to be up to speed to execute what Ten Hag wants. And at the same regard, the players that he knew that he could have counted on were unavailable. Add to that, the players who were playing may have been tired from that trip because all these things are connected. All these
Yeah,
things eventually
it's
take a
human beings.
toll.
It's not robots we're dealing with. True.
Hmm.
But as
And
you
this
think,
is why I was saying, I was saying
but
that
as
this at the end of the day, that Ten Hag still has a lot to learn because he hasn't faced everybody in the league yet. So there will be instances where there may be games that may seem beatable, that the opposition may seem beatable, that he may have an instance or two where he made a wrong mistake. I'm not saying that it's always going to be the case, but things like this can arise. I believe in a lot of people's minds today was a game to get 3 points. Unai Emery took that personally.
also too, we gotta understand that, like, okay, sometimes when people say things like football is play on the day or how he go just mess it up, you gotta understand. Some things just happen during the week, during in one game. Like, I tell yourself, I'm gonna try something so I wouldn't look predictable. I'm missing something, so I'm gonna make up for something, and it don't work out. Like, men just forget it don't
Yeah,
work
well,
out.
we all know Pep Guardiola famous for that.
Yeah,
He always
that was
he
it.
always try something on certain days, and they very rarely ever work out. What
But
is
this
working
match,
for him is
this
doing the
match
same
week,
thing.
it almost happened this match week too because the man tried something and it almost didn't work out. So he said, you know what? Let me go back to my cheat code and stay in my lane. And that way it is. It is happened like that.
So, all right, I wanna touch on Greg's 10%. Greg's 10% is purely down to the manager getting it wrong. I want to throw my thoughts on that in, and then I wanna go to Tonio for him to weigh in, and the others will weigh in after. When I looked at the personal issues we had and the game that Van der Beek had in the middle of the week, I wasn't starting it. I thought we needed to do something
Fair.
different this game. We needed things were so bad. I actually felt for to give this team a chance, we needed to change the entire formation. We couldn't play
Yeah.
4-2-3-1. Not because the team is not well drilled in 4-2-3-1, not because the players are not well, but because we just didn't have the personnel. I actually would have started with Casemiro and Scott. And I'm not just saying this in hindsight. I had a conversation with people in the week, and this is the team that I would have started with. Casemiro and Scott and Ericsson as a midfield three. And then I would have dropped Cristiano Ronaldo. I would have played Rashford up top, Ganacho, and whoever we would have had available on the right.
Would you have
No,
started
sorry.
Martial?
It
Nah.
depends. I would not have started Martial simply because I wouldn't have started Martial because I don't want knowing the football we need to play. I don't want Martial to run out and get an next injury. I would have faded him back into the team. So I didn't have a problem with him coming off the bench today. It wouldn't surprise me if he starts in the middle
Fair.
of the week. But that is what I would have done. I would have gone to 4-3-3. Now some people may have said, "Oh, we playing Villa. What we doing with Casemiro and Fred or Casemiro and Scott? We don't need all line in midfield." Well, now that the game has played, nobody would say that, right? Right? But I was saying this in before the game play that I think we needed a formation change because we just didn't have. The bottom line is this team does not have a Bruno Fernandes replacement. Everybody who thinks you could
Nope.
just take Ericsson, push him up in the 10. We all watch Spurs for years. Ericsson does his best coming from deep, getting the ball and coming from deep. He doesn't do you could see Ericsson in front up there doing what Bruno, making them early runs into the box and not late runs into the top of the box. Ericsson don't run into the box, period. Ericsson runs onto the ball, he comes from deep. You don't just push Ericsson in the 10. So for me, I would have just changed the whole thing, break the whole thing down for this game. Say, our fellas, we playing 4-3-3. This is what we doing. Strong midfield. Ericsson, you will spray the ball around, and we have runners. You
Yeah.
understand? I not saying Elanga played well, but to be honest with you, I don't think he would have done anything worse than Ronaldo did today. Runners. Rashford, Garnacho,
I mean,
and Elanga. That's
to
my
be fair,
hold on to your thought there, CJ. Hold on to your thought. So, Tonio, what do you thought the manager got wrong today?
Well, yeah, I think you hit
Because
the
I
nail on
know
the
you,
head.
I know you feel he got something wrong.
Yeah, and as you said, I think the weightage of the percentage was right. I'd say about 10 to 15% in terms of his team selection, because for me, as soon as I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, we may have a bit of a problem here. For me, if something works, don't change it. Even if your front line isn't firing on all fronts, you make sure that your midfield and your defense remains solid to offer that protection. For me, we've seen the combination of Casemiro and Scott work pretty well this season. We've seen the combination of Casemiro and Fred also look decent. Look decent enough to put in a shift away from home this season also.
That's true.
So I just found it a bit surprising that he didn't go back to that. Maybe he didn't want to lose a bit of creativity. I don't know. But for me, based on how we've been playing the last games, for me the clean sheet has been the priority, and it has worked. So I think he kind of strayed from that. He tried something new, and I don't think that it was the right time to do so, because I don't think we've seen Donny play in that position for this season thus far. And sad to say, he did not look comfortable. He didn't look comfortable playing there. He tried to do what he does, but he didn't impact the game in the way that we would have wanted to. I think he likes to be the man on the end of it, going into the box instead of the one having to look to create the chance or the opportunity.
He likes to be active.
Correct. And with the role that requires some level of discipline. And I think with him starting there also, we lost a lot of our front three pressing in a sense, because Bruno, as much criticism as he receives, Bruno works like a dog on and off the ball. He works
always.
Energy, intensity, aggressiveness. And I think aggressiveness is also a side of the game that Donny lacks. He doesn't really impose himself like that up there. So I think that allowed Villa to play the way that they did out of the back. And I think what strayed today, based on the selection, was the fact that the coach has been preaching over the last few games. The first thing that we must always have is control. And I don't think we had that at really any point in this game. Our best parts of this game was from the 34th minute to halftime. Those were the best minutes of this game. That's when we control the game and we actively looked like we were back to ourselves. We found our shape a bit, and then the second half started and we did exactly the same thing we did at the beginning of the first. We were flat. And we as I said, the energy levels, we definitely did not match Villa there. And I think another issue with Victor is that Victor struggles playing against teams that are extremely physical and also teams that are flying with the ball. So if we're not in control of the game, he can be made up pretty easily. Kind of a bit of a headless chicken. But definitely the main problem was where Donny started today. I personally would have, as you said, I would have played either Casemiro, Fred, Scott, because that combination, one of those two combinations, along with Ericsson there to, as you say, spray the balls around. But we didn't have that today, and I really don't know why he strayed from it, or he took so long to make a change, because I definitely thought we were gonna have a formation change after the first half. But clearly he had other ideas. I personally, again, putting Rashford on the right is like, come on.
It handicaps him. It handicaps him.
If I have to play him, I know if he's not playing forward, obviously his best position is coming off the left. If anybody has to play on the right, and you so want to play Garnacho based on how we played in the midweek, play Garnacho on the right-hand side, because he can also play there also. If you don't want to sacrifice on that right, then play Elanga. You know exactly what you're going to get. At least you're going to get energy, you're going to get pressing. because he did not want to start Martial because he didn't want to start him and bring him on initially and him get injured. So I understand the reason for Cristiano Ronaldo starting. And that's another thing today. All the CR fans, he's getting the minutes, he's getting the time, he got the armband. But what did he really do today?
He do this.
What did he really do today? What really did he do today?
No, he do that today.
I mean, the proof is the proof is in the pudding. He's getting everything he wanted, and I think he's starting to realize that, hey, yeah, but I'm losing my levels, and he needs to come to terms with that. But definitely, the coach got it a bit wrong today, and he's entitled to do so. He's only human, and he's still going through a learning experience. I was actually waiting for our first, He's still learning.
This
and I
team
was
is still learning the players.
correct.
He's
Still learning the league.
Correct. And I was waiting for him to, I was actually waiting for this loss to happen, not as in today, but somewhere down the line to see how the team reacts in the next game, because it's going to tell us a lot. Because we found our base. I think we had found our base in terms of how we wanted to play and our ideas on the pitch, and they were nowhere to be seen today. It was nowhere near to be seen today. But, you know, we hold a strain and we keep pushing forward. So, but he definitely has to take a bit of, take some of it today. He definitely does.
So CJ, coming to you, I wanna start talking about personalities, right? We talk about fatigue, we talk about injuries, we talk about the coach. Let's talk about personalities and individual performances now. Let's put some receipts on the pitch. We have Darren saying in the comments that Van der Beek really wasn't that good, and he has been good for a while. You know, but in your opinion, CJ, who, you know, talk to me about the players, the standout players, good or bad for us today.
Good. Lissandro Martinez, although 3 goals, he still kept up. He still fight it. Can't vex with him though. Good. This I don't want to do it in room, but for me, Ericsson wasn't terrible, but you could see Ericsson was trying, and you could kind of see he was kind of doing something. Shaw got consolation for me because Shaw wasn't all that bad, but he got a goal in and he was inspiring, and that's all I can really say. Marcus Rashford wasn't really good because he was playing in that position that he couldn't do that in. Ronaldo still doing marathons, big up he. Big up man's he gonna be fit for Olympics in the marathon segment. He gonna be running though. Hey, watch out and all that. Hey, gold medal, 5K, that he name on it. And that is it. I'll do this for Darren because he wanna wait. Every time I hear Darren talk about Tonio, you ever hear the VDB, you ever hear the first liner stand from Eminem? There stand, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. Yeah, that was gonna be like that. Like, dog, he not gone. He don't think about you like that, bro. So stop that. But aside from that, Donny really didn't have a good performance. But at the same time, it is what it is. He coming off from an injury. But at the same time, also the positioning. If you look at the tactics and the positioning, he's a runner. He ain't about to do anything. Let me be real. He don't want to be running. So for me, guys, and David here, you can't say David had a bad game because, oh gosh, it wasn't happening like that. It wasn't happening for him today like that, but I can't believe
those were good goals.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's what
I see myself saying David should have saved it.
The free kick especially. No keeper.
Yeah, that look at the free kick was
goal number 3 as well.
Exactly.
And the problem with goal number 1, David was trying to come out and close the space, but Bailey was just so fast.
Yeah.
You can see where David pushed his foot. The ball was done in the goal, and David was reacting to the shot. It was so fast. He just really didn't have the time.
And to go hard on David here when he's been having that absolutely crazy form.
Not today.
I can't put him on that one, man. Oh gosh. That double save for Sociedad is like, nah, David been working, but I can't vex with this game. So for me, I think overall, in terms of the midfield, we were missing players. We really did miss out on players. And on top of that, we gave guys who are now getting minutes. Because I saw people doing a comparison on that Manchester United group. I don't ever want to talk about, but hey, entertainment. It's just be entertaining.
You still there?
No, I just do that for comedy, boy. You ever watch like a comedy special? That's what it is. It's like a bad Adam Sandler movie. Like, I know it ain't good, but I ain't a nurse to do that, boy. Say what?
Wow. You need a hobby. You need a hobby.
Saying,
Come back and join me in the gym now.
no, I need a girlfriend. However, yeah. Yeah.
I might
So,
anyway, that's another story we will talk about
Yeah.
after.
yeah. So for me, somebody said somebody was having some argument with the midfield, and somebody now I don't know what dispossessed people. I don't know why people just go out of the way to make claims that I don't know what you was watching, but okay, that your opinion. Go off, bro. People were saying that look at Casemiro. Casemiro didn't used to get games, but he accumulated to the league very well, whereas Donny out here is at the club and he hasn't done the same. And I just watched it like, that not kind of a comparison. I don't know where they get that from, but okay. And I think it's weird though, because I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying Donny hasn't taken his chances. He hasn't really taken much chances. But at the same time, he hasn't had the game time to say, well, oh, he just has to go and impact it. No. And on top of it, to show you how people are ready to watch football, Casemiro had like 3 bad games though. Like he had bad games before he got his minutes. Let's not act as if, hey, Donny out there.
His first outings for Manchester United were forgettable.
Exactly. And on top of it,
Very.
the game against Ammonia, if you watch Donny game against Ammonia, people were like, well, it wasn't terrible, but you could see he was getting into goal scoring opportunities and you could see he was doing something. So for me, I often think that maybe for cup games, I wouldn't say no, but for cup games, if you want to rotate the squad, just give them games to play. I'm not saying keep giving them multiple chances. And I understand that people have reputations that they could rest on. But my thing is, I am not comparing the two. I'm not saying that he deserves umpteen chances because, again, he does need to impose himself. But at the same time, we have been given excuses for so many players. And we've been very critical of a lot of people. And we often say, well, they do things in the past and you know their reputation. But like,
we ain't had to call names.
I'm not calling names. I don't care. Yeah. But like, I'm not saying that, yes, Cristiano Ronaldo gets a chance because it is Cristiano Ronaldo. But if we're being real about it, where has Ronaldo done in games to say, hey, if Ronaldo wasn't there, it would have been different? No. The Chelsea game. Free Chelsea game. If Ronaldo
That's not CJ. You're saying a lot. So
Yeah.
we need to unpack some of it. Courtney, personalities. He talk about Ronaldo. He talk about Donny van der Beek. Who were the outstanding for you, if any? He talk about Martinez, and who were the as pull stones as we used to see on the basketball court back in the day.
Your mic off.
Sorry.
I don't know if that's the lexicon that is used these days, but back in the day, when you really wasn't up there, they used to tell you, hey, you're pulling stones.
It pains me to say this, but Dalo didn't have a bad game. It pains me to say this because
I want to ask you a question.
Oh my God.
Can I finish?
No, I want to ask you a question about the low.
Uh,
That's why I don't want you to, because when you go to the other players, I'm not going to come back to that question. Right? I agree that Delo has been one of the best and most consistent players in Manchester United for the entire season.
mm-hmm,
He didn't have a bad game.
mm-hmm.
I have a problem with the fact that when I watch Manchester United play over the last 2 games, the only person that seems to be able to put a good cross in the box is Luke Shaw. Dalo runs up and down the pitch. He beats his man. He gets back. He does his defensive duties. But when he crosses the ball, it leaves a lot to be desired. And I don't know if I'm the only person seeing it because I don't hear anybody else talking about it.
Well, you see, people does want to fight my boy now because he can't cross. But the same man.
Who boy is that?
Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
Not doing the same thing. But
Oh Lord.
again, whatever. We go get into that anyway. That
All
Lord
right,
didn't
fair
have
enough.
a
Go
bad
ahead with the rest of your
We
point.
don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time.
We
that
can
Lord
make
didn't
it
have
up.
a bad game.
They move on day.
He made some decisions that were questionable, but we go leave that on his side. Donny does not look match fit. Sorry, I think Ten Hag is giving him a raw deal by putting him in from the start. He's clearly not up to the speed of the game.
And you know coming from injury too.
Right, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
He now coming back from an injury, and to start him in a game like this, even though it was classified by some as an easy game, I didn't, because one, he has always had to factor in that new manager box. And I don't think this was, especially based on he didn't have an outstanding game in Europa League this week. There was nothing in that game on Thursday that said to me that Donny van de Beek deserved to start this morning. I would have probably given one of the youth men a run out. I don't know, as Zidane Iqbal or somebody. I might think
In a game like this today,
yeah, because you see, they are more, or even Ilanga, I more say Ilanga than anybody else. Even though he's not been, from an attacking sense, giving you the kind of output that you need, he would at least give you that energy,
They work rate.
the work rate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
against a team like Aston Villa, who aren't known for playing the ball on the ground, you need them kind of like what my father used to say, them bull terriers on them. They go run.
I mean, anytime you have to come up against someone like Tyrone Mings, you know you're not gonna have an easy day. The man basically is like a thug on the football field.
Correct.
Tyron Mings was an at-risk youth. I
Course,
give
of
it personally.
And hear the greatest not. Anybody hear the dialogue between he and Ronaldo when they had that little scuffle?
No, I what happened?
Tyrone Mings told Cristiano Ronaldo, "You only have one more goal than me this season."
Wow.
Dog!
No.
you only have one more goal than what?
Tyrone Mings told Cristiano Ronaldo he only has one more goal than him this season.
Well,
Christ,
one thing
I'd
I
have
will say about that-
if I was Ronaldo, I'd have fight him too. Nah,
the
man.
one thing I will say about that
No,
is if that
I
is
know
what
what
Tyrone Mings said, and Cristiano Ronaldo wrestling to the ground, big up Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, boy, big up Ronaldo, dog.
Yo,
Um,
I know they were trying to get. I know
You
they were
know-
trying to get in his brain. I know they were trying to get in his brain, but my gosh, my gosh.
I real disrespect though. But anyway,
Zidane would have stamped that. Zidane would have stamped that out. I mean, Zidane, Zlatan would have stamped that out.
I would say this: CR7 needs to quickly realize that he's not the player that he once was. He's not even the player that he was last year.
Yes.
Not
I mean,
only him,
I
the
hear-
fan base
I've heard-
altogether has to
I've heard
recognize that.
people say this.
No, well, the fans,
Indeed.
I'm not going to go down the fans road because fans will be fans. And they would always have an idyllic look at him. Even when Wayne was on the decline, there were still people who, for the majority of that season, was backing Wayne. It's not until the back end of the season when they realized, yeah, Wayne don't have these legs no more, that people started to turn on him.
He could.
I will say this. CR7 needs to now realize that he cannot play week in, week out. Especially how this particular season is set up. He has to have a serious conversation with Eric and say, Eric, here we're going. You're going to have to rotate.
You were right.
No, but you think couldn't he? Here's the thing with that. Cristiano Ronaldo himself, I don't think his ego will allow something like that to
Yeah.
happen.
That will
No,
never
but-
happen, boy.
But
Yeah.
no, let's think about it like this. Eric has been showing him that he can't run the same he could run. That's why he's been getting the minutes he has to get. Let me tell you something. People find Eric was judging the man. How you gonna judge Cristiano Ronaldo? One, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. You can't judge him. But two, if you analyzing game, if you're looking at certain things from training, that he didn't go, let me be real, he didn't even go the Saturday training. But if you see any man levels in training, because you know there's half five aside, it's half full matches this play to get fitness, and you saying that, but wait now, this man ain't doing the runs he's supposed to do, that youth man who have less experience catching up to him. Then dog, I have to give you certain kind of minutes because in a game, it's kind of going to be the same thing. Now, yes, training and game is two very different things. But oh gosh, your body is your body, age is age. Age ain't care about what the timing is.
Mm-hmm.
Once your motor ain't hitting the same, it's not hitting the same. And that's not an attack on Ronaldo. Look at Edison Cavani. Yes, Edison Cavani is a bit younger than Ronaldo. But at the same time, you can't say the Edison Cavani at United was the same Edison Cavani at PSG, nor the Edison Cavani at Napoli.
Napoli.
You can't do that. We have to be real with ourselves. And I was always look at it. And I don't say this because I hate Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't. But I often tell myself, here now, boy, I wonder if Ronaldo wasn't playing, how would the attacking look?
Let me ask this question. Courtney made a statement, and I've heard two other people talking to privately make the same statement. And even earlier in the show, I think Tonio said it. Ronaldo needs to recognize. Ronaldo needs to recognize. Ronaldo don't coach himself. I thought at one part of the season when Ronaldo was being benched consistently that Eric Ten Hag realized I cannot depend on this guy in my system. Now, maybe injuries is what caused Cristiano Ronaldo to start today. I could see that. I could accept that. But really and truly, I don't want to see Ronaldo starting Premier League games. I rather play longer. I rather play somebody else because if it's one thing would have kept Aston Villa true today, would that be true runners?
Exactly.
Would that be runners on the right, left, and in the center where they know if we lose this ball,
That is it.
In
Mings in
problems.
trouble.
Yeah.
And on
So
top
we
of
had to keep men back to
and
cater
for reference too,
to him. You understand?
but for reference too though, look at the I don't want to go so back, but look at the Liverpool game. With Ilanga starting, there was a reason Elanga started because he needed everybody running in the front
No,
line.
Exactly.
again, the same thing you talk about with training. I am suspecting that Ten Hag, as much as he's liking what he's seeing with Garnacho, he's probably not liking what he's seeing with Ilanga, which is why Ronaldo ended up getting his start.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't. That's why I don't want to go in hard on Ten Hag because Ten Hag has shown me Ronaldo is clearly not high up in his books. Right? He
Mm-hmm.
will use Ronaldo as far as that is what I have. That is what I have. Right? So I don't think that has changed. But these guys, we going through a crisis, and this is the time when men's supposed to be stepping up. This is the time where Elanga could make himself a regular in this team, and we're not seeing it. And I just want to talk about Donny van der Beek for a second, and then we're going to switch gears and talk about Aston Villa because we play them again on Thursday.
Mm.
Donny van der Beek is one-dimensional. He is like Paul Pogba, but less than. And when I say like Paul Pogba, but less than, everybody used to be talking about excuses. Oh, we need to put this person next to Paul, and we need to do this, and we need to do that to get the best out of Paul. That is Donny van der Beek. Great players like Christian Eriksen, like Bruno Fernandes, and I know some people might consider him great, but these players adapt. Bruno Fernandes didn't drop in Manchester United and was like, hey, well, fellas, this is how I used to play in Portugal, or no? Well,
Nope.
no, he
Man,
dropped
that's
into
well.
Manchester United and started doing his thing and adapting to the players around him and hit the ground running. Same thing with Christian Eriksen. Same thing with Casemiro when he got his feet in terms of adapting to the speed and the physicality of the league. And that is what he needed to adapt to. Right? You understand? Donny van der Beek is one-dimensional. One touch, one short touch. Not the Bruno who was hit at 40 and 30. I'm not saying Donny not see any man running 40 and 30 yards, you know, but he not making that pass. He is going to hit you 10 and 15 yards. That is the pass Donny is going to make. I only see Donny van der Beek being successful in this team playing with three other players. I could see Donny, Martial,
Mhm.
Anthony and Rashford, or Anthony or Sancho and Rashford. I could see the four of them playing well together with that one touch, hit and move, kind of. Anytime that combination of players not on the pitch, Donny van de Beek should not play for Manchester United because he is one-dimensional. And I like Donny van de Beek. I really like Donny van de Beek. But he is one-dimensional. He just is. It's not about he not great. No, it's not that. He is one-dimensional. And he has shown me over his time here, he cannot adapt to what is going on. He cannot. I don't know what they do with him in Ajax, but they have wired his brain permanently. He cannot play anything else. That is it. You understand? He could not good for anything else. I watched Donny today getting ball, doing the same thing, one touch. He don't pass the ball bad. He's aware of his environment, but he don't pass the ball into danger. He don't look at maybe a more dangerous, more risky, but maybe more reward. He don't do any of that. One touch, boom, quick to the next man, and it's just there. And as Tonio mentioned, he's not aggressive in the defense. He's not aggressive, so he's not adding enough going forward with that combination. Once Cristiano Ronaldo's name is on the team sheet, Donny van de Beek should not play. He cannot play with somebody.
A fella did say that combination did not make any sense.
I've been saying that whole week.
Because the line is static. Look at all the games that Ronaldo has played.
Right.
The line is static. That follows.
Correct.
When we at the start of the season, when we had Rashford and Anthony and Sancho,
Donny could play with them.
No. When we had that front three, you actually saw the interchanging, the moving. When football point, we don't move.
Yeah, because these are all players that don't play in fixed positions. It's the same way Donny played in Ajax. He wasn't in a fixed position. Everybody was moving. Everybody was interchanging.
Donny was a midfielder. But you don't remember how much goals Donny scored in his last season for Ajax because of those late 1-2 touches and runs into the box.
Correct.
When he played with
It was like
Ronaldo,
13, 14 goals around there.
That's not happening. He don't have anybody to do that with.
I want to say this for drama, but Darren felt like Chad agreed with him, but Darren, Chad gave more details. You just a hater.
Thank you. No, Darren doesn't understand context. Context isn't important to Darren. Darren
apparently, he just wants to hear he's right and we're wrong. That's what he wants to hear.
But I think Chad hit the nail on the head. Donny's way too. He's a system player, and that Ajax system is stuck right inside here. If he does not have players who are actively moving and running in front of him consistently, you are not going to see the best out of him. He is highly intelligent, don't get me wrong.
Being a system player isn't ultimately being a bad player. But at the same time, if you're expected to move on and to work in a different environment, and I think a lot of it.
The difference between good players to me and great and elite players is when you can use your skill set and make it positively affect whoever you're playing with.
Let me
tell you something, and I'm just saying this and we're moving on because we don't want to get into that debate. But that is the one reason I elevate Cristiano Ronaldo above Messi. That is the one reason.
Mentality.
The only reason. Cristiano Ronaldo, left foot, right foot, head. He started off as a winger. He adapted to being an attacker because it lets run as he get older. You know, that ability, any team he dropped into, he scored goals. Sometimes he may negatively affect, but he scored goals. Messi is Messi, and you put Messi in a different system, and he's going to be Messi. And I don't mean Messi his name, I mean Messi like a mess. Because he is a system player. If you don't have players,
are you rapping now? You rapping now, right? Okay.
If you don't have the right combination, look how long it took him to find his feet at PSG. And still those players are very similar in nature than what he had at Barcelona. You understand?
Correct.
That is the one reason why I will give Ronaldo the edge, because he will find a way to make a contribution regardless of the system. Donny van de Beek is a system player. The coach either had to put him in a team that will work for him or just do play. I'm sorry to say it. He either had to play with the right set of players or he just shouldn't play at all. That's it. That's how it is. So we had to play this team again. Now, my concern coming into this game, and I remember telling somebody this earlier in the week, is that I always hate it historically over the last 10 years or more. When Manchester United have to play the same team twice, we very rarely ever win both games.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter the opposition. Sometimes we might think, oh yeah, but that's a small team. We very rarely ever win both games, right? We win one, but we either lose or draw the next one. That is the only reason I'm confident we're going to win the game on Thursday. I don't think we're going to lose to Aston Villa back to back.
How?
And coming back to what I was saying earlier when Courtney was wondering, oh, why are you confident we're going to win? That is the reason. Sometimes stats and history matters, right? And the stats are in our favor for winning the game on Thursday. Because we don't lose to two teams. We don't lose to the same team back to back either. When we play in the same team back to back, I remember there was a season we were playing City in the league and in the cup. And they beat us in the league, and everybody was like, oh gosh, oh God. And we end up winning the game in the cup, right?
Look, you could even go close to Liverpool a couple of seasons back. We played them in the league the week before in Anfield. We drew with them, and they came to Old Trafford for the FA Cup, and we won.
We don't lose back-to-back games, but the problem is, even if it's minnows, we don't win back-to-back games either. So far as I'm concerned, we already lose the game we're going to lose. We ain't losing the next one. Even if they come out and do the exact same thing they do today, we not losing that game.
Like now, boy. I know what I want.
Couldn't have no faith at all, boy. Wait, boy.
So could we go into you first? What are your expectations?
It boils down to this, right? Who are we going to play differently on Thursday that have honestly put in a shift in the last however long you want to use and that will change the game?
That's a real hard question there, bro.
Next, that I don't have the crickets sound effect to play right now. Because that's what hit me, crickets.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, you have Bruno coming back. From suspension. That's another element we could add to it as well too.
Bruno will be on the team.
Right.
And then you could also start Martial in a game like this as well too.
Hold on.
Malacia should get a start.
Bruno. I highly doubt he's going to play Bruno because he also needs Bruno for the next weekend. But let's carry on.
Now he will play Bruno.
Last game before the World Cup.
90 minutes, but he will start Bruno.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
He also has Martial he could call on as well to give him some game.
Before I go to the rest of the panel, what is your expectations for Thursday?
What happened today? We're going to get blitz in that first 10 minutes, that first 20. And that is going to...
I think that's at Old Trafford.
Old Trafford? 2-0 victory.
I think so.
I go with a 2-0 victory. We're not taking that disrespect twice. Trust and believe that. I'm going to a 2-0 victory. We're not taking that disrespect twice. But we're going to see change in personnel and possibly the formation also. But we ain't taking our bad up twice in a week. We just
I could see a repeat of last season from the FA Cup, a 1-0 win and a McTominay header.
Yeah.
One thing I like about Ten Hag so far, and it's the one thing I remember his assistant coach. Was his assistant coach again?
Mitchell van der Berg.
Mitchell.
No, not Mitchell. The one who used to coach by us.
Oh, Steve McLaren.
One of the things I heard Steve McLaren say is that Eric Ten Hag ability to make in-game changes. He adapts. And that was something that shocked him because when Eric Ten Hag was his assistant, I think at 20, sometimes they would be talking and he will say certain things to him and he would be like, I'm not really seeing it, but all right, and they will try it and he'll see it come off and his ability. I cannot see that Eric Ten Hag is going to sit down. Watch this performance. And regardless of the issues we have with personnel, and we have to admit, I have to agree with Courtney, I'm not seeing a lot of personnel changes that could be made. I'm seeing one or two, but I'm not seeing a lot. I cannot see Ten Hag watching this performance, watching this tape, having nightmares because I know he hate to lose, right? Dreaming about this game and going on Thursday and doing much of the same. I can't see that. I could see Emery saying, "Hey, we beat them fellas. We're going back and do the same thing." I could see him saying that. I can't see Ten Hag doing that.
Well,
That's crazy.
Emery is a Sesame Street character, so
I was actually surprised because Emery is known. Emery is more known for being defensive, solid defensively, but he shows his intelligence because he used the assets because the better players on this Aston Villa team are the attacking players. The defensive players are not really that good, and
no.
he played to the strengths of the team. So kudos to him. What are your expectations, CJ, for Thursday?
Yeah, I could see that there's not much personal change, but I see he went to do different things tactically. And although we not for some reason at home we're different compared to how we do.
Well,
Like
that's
I
what
don't
it
know
should be.
yeah, as it should be because we actually get back our home form if you're watching good. At home, remember at home we used to be dropping points more than away. We actually now getting some home form. And I think he's going to take it serious. Now, I would have told myself if he draw this game or win this game, I would have wanted him to rotate for fatigue wise, because fatigue. But he would want to make a point knowing Eric Ten Hag. He's going to want to make a point. He's going to want the win to stabilize things.
Yeah,
Again.
two losses is a momentum killer,
Yeah, so I think he's going to
we had to
change
win
up.
that next game.
Yeah, so you're going to change it up. Bruno going to be available. You're going to throw Bruno in, and for all we know, we might see Ronaldo instead of running a marathon, get a little penalty out there. Let me big him up there, man.
It's crazy. We haven't won a penalty in months, have we?
Yeah, but
Go ahead to you, Greg B.
Honestly, I just get caught up in the whole banter just now, but I lost my whole train of thought. My God, it's probably this time.
But what are your expectations? What are your expectations for
My
Tuesday?
expectations for Thursday, like I said, I expect Bruno to start this game. I expect us to come out swinging. I expect us to. I think like you said, Ten Hag is someone who you said he adapts it within the games as well too. I think he's gonna take this game and take it under consideration and learn and recognize where he may need to strengthen up, where he may need to change the tactic overall. Who knows? He could be listening to us right now and probably saying, the 4-3-3 may not be a bad idea to play against Aston Villa. Because
No, he
considering
isn't.
the person, I
no,
know, I'm sure. Oh, God, I'm telling you, oh, God, just don't ruin it now,
you
man.
feel
Don't ruin it now, man.
that's something like the fella, you're talking like the fella who does be before top player, but he don't see that. He don't care.
I know. But still, at the end of the day, it is something that I believe he would probably take into under consideration, especially with the personnel that he may have in hand, knowing that okay, the original system that he had in place doesn't work with the players that he may have currently available, and there will be tweaks to be made. So I still have confidence that things will turn around, and I believe, like I said, I think maybe a 1-0 win on Thursday. Like I said, a McTominay header, right it back.
I just know if we win, somebody could clip Courtney face. I just go like this.
I still want the clip where he said that Dalot had a good game because
Yeah, but I admit,
If Courtney could say that,
It
say that LeBron getting our next ring, yes.
Yo,
LeBron about to win off
that's
Big
good.
Westbrook. I
okay,
hear it here all
okay,
year.
end the stream, Chad. End the stream.
We will end on this question from Martin Phillip. Gentlemen, name 3 positions Ten Hag needs to fill now before the January transfer window. I will go first.
Definitely a striker.
Everybody will go.
Yeah, good.
Striker. We need a striker. We have become once again, once Anthony is not available, too left side dominant. We were left side dominant when Pogba was here, with Pogba, Martial, Rashford, everybody preferring that side. Sancho, because Sancho has been dipping in form, because I personally doesn't think it matters whether Sancho is on the left or the right. So normally you could say we have Anthony and Sancho for the right, but these days it only look like we have Anthony. But definitely right back. Right back, and we need a proper number 10. We need somebody else who could do what Bruno Fernandes does. Because we have the likes of Casemiro and we have Rashford coming into form and Anthony doing his whirl around worldies and wherever. Nobody's talking about, and Bruno Fernandes not racking up the numbers. Nobody is talking about him. But clearly, without him today, this team look lost. Where's the identity for Manchester United when Bruno is not on the pitch? So I think we
People
need
tend to
to.
forget, Chad. Just sorry to cut you off. People tend to forget that Bruno Fernandes is our biggest chance creator in this team. If you look at the amount of big
I am
chances
forgetting,
created,
that is the point. That is exactly my point.
Yeah.
So we need, to me, we have players coming up in the academy, but nobody in that Bruno mold. We have people probably in the Ericsson mold, the playing playmakers and the Savages and the Iqbals, right? We have a right back on loan doing well, right?
yeah.
We have wingers out on loan, but we do have a number 10, and I'm not hearing us a link to one either. And I think we need, because the scary thing is, God forbid Bruno Fernandes has an injury. That's a crisis. Bruno Fernandes and Diego Dalot are two players that are not, we cannot replace them right now. We don't have anybody to replace them right now. So striker is a necessity because of Ronaldo, right back, and we need a creative, risk-taking Bruno Fernandes / Kevin De Bruyne-esque kind of player in the midfield.
Somebody made a joke and said the way we was going after Real Madrid players so much, it's best we go and take Modric and done.
Nah, Modric.
It's like, no thanks, Chief, no thanks.
It would have been nice if somebody is some of our winger. I don't know, Maybe we should try Sancho in the middle.
To be fair,
that's at Dortmund.
Yeah, to be fair, he has had good stats at number 10.
And on the right? On the left and the right, his stats are almost identical. People don't understand that about Sancho. They always think he's one-sided more than the next. His stats are almost identical. They have Dortmund use him in the middle occasionally. He's been okay, but I don't know anybody else. Anybody could suggest somebody else we could play in that Bruno Fernandes role?
No, but what I would say, though, Chad, is that I don't think we're as bad without Bruno as we looked today. I think it was a bit, what's the word, boy? A bit amplified, exacerbated. I think we could have looked better without Bruno today. Like if we had if the personnel that was selected was better, I think we could have managed the game a lot better today. But definitely we don't have anybody. Even if we put Ericsson there, he's still not the same type of player. He may manage the role decently enough, but he's still not made in that model. So for me, I would say we need a striker, definitely, a right back, and an attacking midfielder to play in that position ideally. But I don't think it's a priority. They're probably earmarking that for the summer.
Yeah, well, that's the concern, really. The concern for me is that we seem to be earmarking everything we're hearing for the summer.
Well,
not really.
Yeah. Outside of Bruno, who came in, I think it would have been 2 seasons ago.
2.5, yeah.
But,
Yeah, 2.5.
right. Who else have we really bought in January? We're not a team that are known for January buys. No, they've been one-offs like Nemanja Vidic and a couple other people.
You know what pissed me off, fellas? And you all,
Mata,
I want you all to
Mata was a
respond.
January buy too.
You all remember we were linked to Alvaro, who ended up going City last January. You all remember we were linked to him last
Alvarez.
January?
Yeah, Julian Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Yeah, I remember that.
Alvarez, yeah. We were linked to Alvarez.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were linked to
9
Diaz.
points I get. I'm very happy for it.
Right? You all remember we were linked to Diaz.
You must be happy for him.
Going
Must
to
be.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
And who else? There was somebody else we were linked to that
We were linked with a lot of players, especially Zakaria was another one we were linked
Haidara.
with. Haidara, yeah.
that
Even Vlahovic,
I
who's
wanted-
gone Juventus.
no, but I'm talking
Yeah,
about
Haidara.
the short list that Oh gosh,
Ralph?
this German coach,
Ranić.
Ralph.
Yeah, Ranić.
Ralph?
Yeah.
Ralph had a short list with players, and a few of them will end up in the league, and all of them that was on our short list doing well where they are. All of them doing well where they are.
Well, except for Zakaria. Zakaria kind of all over the place right now.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, Chad, that while we may have been linked with a player, there's no guarantees that we are going to go after said player.
No, I'm not talking about it. That's why I specified that was on his list because the media links us to everybody.
Yeah.
I was more talking about the players who I know that the club was actively scouting. You know what I mean? Players that we actually looked at and we were considering, and for whatever reason, we didn't go for them. I personally would love forgetting his name, Alvarez is what City striker from Argentina.
Yeah, Alvarez, Julian Alvarez.
Alvarez.
I personally would love to see Alvarez at United. I think he would slot perfectly. He would give the team much more than Ronaldo does right now. But it is what it is. So, gentlemen, except for Courtney, everybody expects that we're going to win on Thursday. Courtney is not saying we're going to lose. He's just saying we're going to have a tough game.
We have a problem.
So I hope he's available on Thursday.
I will make myself available too.
Wow.
To be able to comment.
Like he expecting Wan-Bissaka to have the game of his life on Thursday, probably.
No, I don't actually I don't even think one would be in consideration to play. The rumor is that they have agreed with Crystal Palace for a loan.
Okay.
So they're just waiting for the window to
Waiting
open.
for January.
Yeah.
That would be good for him, though.
Yeah. Probably best because I mean it's just not working out for the guy. I hate to say it.
But that's my thing. In Crystal Palace, he looked the part of a defender. He did what he was
because
supposed to.
Crystal Palace's setup alone is just defensive in itself, so he will look good in that.
Nah, I don't say that. Crystal Palace has been playing.
When they were playing with Roy Hodgson, that team was ultra defensive.
Of course, it was traditional English football that was playing with Roy
Exactly.
Hodgson. If we being real, not to knock on him, because it's not that he wasn't good at United. I just think is that what Chad is good system players. The kind of football you want to play, he has to be in it. So if we have to play a game where we have to be defensive for Wan-Bissaka to work, we have to more or less set it up for Wan-Bissaka. That is all it is.
Let me just say this, to part on a controversial note. I think Harry Maguire would have served us better today than Victor Lindelof. You see the last ditch back towards the goal kind of defending that Harry showed us the last time he played, the last 15 minutes of that game. That's what we needed today. And Victor wasn't up to the task. Right? Victor wasn't up to But that is in hindsight. Would I have picked Harry before the game? The answer is no. I ain't lying. I would not pick him. But watching the way the game went off, I don't think Harry would have been any worse than Victor today. He probably might have been a little better.
I still wasn't picking Harry. I think Leon Bailey would have kept Harry Maguire alive.
Oliver.
A man said he just start back drinking. Yeah?
Don't do Harry so dirty now. As I said before, when Harry is on, he is on.
Horses for courses.
Right?
Facts.
So I wouldn't have Oliver treating Harry in this regard. Mind you, I'm not a Harry fan, but let me get Jackie Jacket. When the man defending and he playing a proper game, he looks the part of a centre back.
All right, I'll leave it with this, Christy. And I'll say this. Even when Harry has good games, Harry leaves you with a nut in your stomach. You don't need X-Lax, you don't need any of those things. Harry gives those things to you naturally, even if he has a good day.
So Harry's a walking Pepto-Bismol, man, saying, mate.
You are still uneasy with him once he is in the back there. I feel it less with Victor, but definitely when Harry's on the ball, brother, I'm telling you, we lost 3-1 today. It might have been probably 5 because Harry wasn't handling that. Trust and believe that. He was not handling that. He was not.
You know what you had to do, Greg B. You had to go and make that meme. Harry in a Pepto-Bismol suit. Get I mean good. I mean the next game, drop that mean. That mean will be fire. We'll take the internet by storm.
That's a grown man, dog.
A man
Well,
see
But
can't watch Harry on a normal head, yes.
keeping it
Man,
real.
Mark does ever be on a normal head?
you had a drink before you watch Harry play football.
Mark does ever be on a normal head, Chad? If we being honest, Mark does ever be on a normal head? I can't remember the last time Mark was on a normal head.
Mark is just as a vibes man, you know. Mark is a vibes man.
He has a lot of spirit to give. He has a lot of spirits. He probably takes in a lot of spirits on top of that.
People, thank you for being part of Old Talk United. My drink is done. Didn't get a chance to go for a refill, but that's how it is go. You know what I mean? But we're gonna fix that after the show. Remember, Red Devils don't die. We multiply. We're gonna be here tomorrow afternoon for the EPL Rewind, where we're gonna be reviewing all the games over the weekend. We're gonna spend too much time on this United game because we could do it without that kind of depression. But Spurs lost. Chelsea. So we have some stuff to talk about. We have some stuff to talk about on that show. So, as I said before, Red Devils don't die, we multiply. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, people.
Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.